The odds of me being here were so long. 100 years ago, my grandfather was a farmer in a small rural Indian village. 70 years ago, my father was in that same village, on that same land, with no running water, no electricity, and no indoor plumbing. Yet against all odds, Dad became the first person in his family to graduate from college, eventually becoming a doctor. He and my mother then left everything they'd ever known to come to America. They eventually settled in rural North Carolina, in one of the most underserved communities in the United States. It's an immigration story that's a win-win and as old as this country. An underserved community got their doctor, and my family got an opportunity. When it came time for me to write my own story, I did what so many ambitious young people do. I came to Atlanta. And boy, has this region delivered for me. I got my law degree at Emory, was trained at an Atlanta law firm, and have worked for some of the great tech companies, all from here in our region. More importantly, I met my wife here, and joyously we had our son here, all right here in Atlanta. Don't ever let anyone tell you that the American dream is dead. The American dream is alive and well, and I am a walking, talking example of that fact. But stories like mine are just part of our collective story. The hard fact is that Atlanta has the worst upward economic mobility opportunity in the United States. If you are born poor in our region, particularly if you are born poor and black, the odds are stacked against you from day one. In the most affluent parts of our region, the life expectancy is 88 years old, the same as Switzerland. 7 miles away, 7 miles, the life expectancy drops a staggering 24 years to 64 years old, the same as the tiny West African country, Burkina Faso. 7 miles in 24 years in our region, under our watch. How is it that this country and region can be so good to me and my family, and likely to you and yours, and leave so many people behind? The answers, of course, are complicated, and numbers like this can be daunting. But there are things we can work on together to change the odds. One such issue is the digital divide. In 2023 America, if you don't have access to the internet, you are lacking the most basic of services. The Harvard Business Review estimates that 55 million Americans went to online learning during the COVID pandemic. Yet 1 in 5 teens in our country reports having inadequate internet access. The National Institutes of Health looks at internet access as a leading indicator of health outcomes. One reason for this is that without access to internet, you don't have access to things like life-saving telehealth services. And the internet is a key factor in economic mobility. Studies indicate that without increased digital literacy, over half of all Black and Hispanic families will be locked out of 86% of all jobs by 2045. The sad reality is that somewhere in our region tonight, a school kid will do their homework in the parking lot of a McDonald's because that's the only Wi-Fi they can find. But it doesn't have to be this way. If we focus on access, affordability, and increasing digital literacy, we can fix the digital divide and improve the odds. On access, the news is good. The passage of the bipartisan infrastructure package brought $42 billion to expand internet across the United States, with 1.3 coming right here to Georgia. This is akin to generational infrastructure investments like the rural electrification and expansion of federal highway systems done long ago. The news is also good on affordability for now. The infrastructure package created what's called the Affordable Connectivity Program, otherwise known as ACP. Under ACP, 40% of all Americans qualify for a $30 monthly subsidy that makes the internet free to them. 21 million American households have signed up for ACP, with Henry and DeKalb counties leading the way in our region. But without congressional action, ACP will run out as early as April 2024. Some have said that this would be the biggest step backwards in digital inclusion in the history of our country. So our call is clear. Call your member of Congress and let them know that refunding ACP is a priority this year. The last and most overlooked part of digital inclusion is digital literacy. If you have access to the internet but don't know how to use it, it doesn't do anything for you. Yet only 40% of Americans can answer even the most basic questions on digital literacy. Every policymaker in this room can change the odds here by investing in libraries, public schools, and digital navigators. The internet is one of the most powerful tools in the history of humankind. But if you can't access the internet, and you can't afford it, and you don't know how to use it, the internet does not empower you, it overwhelms you. Let's work together to bridge the digital divide. Let's work together to change the odds. Let's work together to make sure that everyone in this great region has the wonderful opportunities that me and my family have been so lucky to receive. Thank you very much.